Hi Flosstube, welcome back to my channel Cakes and Stitches. My name is Keely and I am Cakes and Stitches here on YouTube and Cakes and Stitches over on Instagram as well. It's lovely to see you here. Welcome back if you've been before and welcome if you're new. I have had a few new subscribers since my last video, so thank you to those of you who have subscribed, and I hope you enjoy what you watch. Speaking of subscribers, I am 7 off of 300, which is really exciting. So if there's anyone out there who's watching who hasn't hit subscribe yet, please hit subscribe. I'd love to hit that 300 and maybe we could have a little giveaway to celebrate next time I am here. That would be really nice. I'm going to look down a little bit. I have got my notes in front of me. It is a very warm day again here in the UK. We have been having heat wave after heat wave after heat wave over the last few weeks. Wall-to-wall sunshine, temperatures high up in the 30s, and today, actually this morning when I decided to film, it was quite grey and overcast. It's been raining, it's been quite cool, and typically now that I've decided to film, the sun's come out, so we've got some slightly strange light going on. I can see shiny patches all over my face, and it's getting quite warm in here, so hopefully we won't get too hot and sweaty while we're doing this. I'm not going to complain. It is nice to have lovely summer weather, but boy, it has been hot. It really has. Right, let's see, what have we got in store today? So obviously we're going to be talking about cross stitch. I have got a finish, I've got a couple of starts, a fair few whips that I've been working on. I probably haven't done as much stitching as I would have liked. There have been a few non-stitching days the last few weeks. I think last time I was here was the 16th of June, today's the 21st of July. So it's been about 5 weeks and there have been a few non-stitching days. We've been very busy with doing university open days with my eldest son, which has taken out 3 Saturdays in a row in their entirety. So my weekend stitching has been a little bit less than usual, but I have still got plenty of projects to share with you. So shall we get cracking with my finish? Just realised my pile that I've brought up, I have not flipped to the right way round. So let me do that quickly. Oh, there we go. Okay, that wasn't too bad. So my finish is one for Jolly July. If you do follow me on Instagram, you might have seen already that I was planning on finishing this. So there she is. So this is Merry Christmas. It is by Yasmin's Made with Love. I picked a couple of projects that I wanted to work on for Jolly July, and I was hoping to finish both of them. As it stands, I think this will probably be the only finish for Jolly July, but still I'm really pleased with it. I think I got this as a freebie several years ago because it's been in my whips for quite some time. It is now a paid for pattern on Yaz's website. It's only £5. I would highly recommend it if you like it. This one I've stitched on Ada, I think it's 16 count, and I've used DMC 814 as my colour. So I'm not sure how I'm going to finish this yet. I'm thinking either a little pillow or a flat fold. Flat fold obviously is going to be easier to store, bearing in mind this is only going to come out once a year, so I might try a flat fold with this, but when I've done that obviously I'll bring it back and show you. But yeah, really pleased with that. It's a lovely quick pattern to stitch, really. I have no idea why it's been in my whip pile for, I don't know, 2-3 years probably, a really long time. Just, you know, it's like you start something, put it down and don't go back to it. But yeah, I would highly recommend that pattern. I really enjoyed it, and it's got that Quaker feel that I really like. Okay, I'm going to do whips and new starts together, and I'm going to go through them in the order that I worked on them. So starting back on the 16th of June and working up until today. And the first I'm going to show you I did work on the 16th of June after filming my Flosstube. So it is this one. So this is my Haid full coverage piece. It is a quick stitch. So it's roughly 22,000 stitches, and it's called Dahlia or Dahlia, depending on how you pronounce it. I really love her, and I'm stitching her for my daughter, and I have promised it will be done this year, as some of you will know. So I'm trying to do 1,000 stitches a month on her as a minimum. So since you saw her, I've done 1,502 stitches. She's still in my nurge hoop because I am working on her currently. So she's looking lovely. the colours aren't looking quite so vibrant today because of the strange lighting we've got. I've still got this really shiny bit I keep seeing. Yeah, it's a very strange mixture out there of white cloud, grey cloud, bit of blue sky, bit of sun, bit of everything. Typical English summertime. So I apologise for the lights. But yeah, she's looking really nice. I've put some more of this hair in. This hair is, oh, it's full on. I don't overly enjoy stitching the hair, if I'm completely honest. It's really, really confetti. I mean, you can see, I think, here, loads and loads of little odd stitches everywhere. So the counting there is fun. Obviously, I've got the easy count, but I'm not sure how helpful that is, if I'm honest. I've also done a bit round here. So I've got a hanging thread there. Get that out of the way a minute. Ooh, no, that's just hanging in front of it still. So I've done a little bit around here. This will be the other wing of the dragonfly, a bit more of her face. So yeah, she's really coming on, and I'm really confident that I will get her done in the time that I've said. A lovely needle minder from Cotton and Clay, who are on Etsy. I will link them underneath if I remember. I will try to. So yeah, really enjoying her. And I don't know why I've not had her in a nurge hoop before. She's been in a Q-snap, but a small Q-snap where I had to keep moving her all the time. And this is the first time that I've put her in this nurge, which obviously she fits in perfectly. So I've got no idea why this is the first time she's gone in there. But I'm going to leave her in there now, I think, until I finish her, because she just fits perfectly and it's easy to work on. So yeah, really pleased with her. She's coming on really well. Let's get her over there out of the way. Can have a quick slurp of tea before I carry on. Okay, next is my long dog sampler. I've not done a huge amount on this, only 242 stitches. I'm going to keep it folded actually because it's on a huge great piece of fabric, but you don't need to see loads of fabric with nothing on it. So the fabric is an 18 count Zweigart Ada in the colour Anthracite. The pattern is, I should probably show you the pattern first, shouldn't I? That'd make more sense. So the pattern is Tap Dancers by Long Dog Samplers. So that's what it's going to look like when it is finished. I am just working in this corner here at the moment on the first page. So that's where I've got to. It's with DMC 3808. I'm stitching this, and I've only done 242 stitches this time, but I think it's looking really lovely. I have a little problem with this in that I've put it on Pattern Keeper and I'm working on page 1, but I'm just hitting the point here where we're going into the next page, and on Pattern Keeper, Long Dog Samplers patterns don't seem to go in properly. It seems to miss out like a line of stitches on the side of each page. So I'm going to have to refer back to the paper pattern for a while, and then I might just stitch it from the paper pattern, perhaps. I'm going to see how I get on using the paper pattern for the rest of this page, and then decide what to do with that, because if it's wrong on Pattern Keeper, it seems a bit silly to keep plugging away with that. But yeah, it's really lovely, and as I said, it's on it's on a fat quarter, so a huge great piece of fabric. It's going to take some time, but yeah, lovely. I really enjoy working on that. Something about monochrome projects I really enjoy. Okay, after that one I had a new start, which I really shouldn't have done because I have no business having new starts. I had a little count up of my whips, and I think I'm on about, well, before I finished Merry Christmas I was on, I think I'm on 43 with these 2 new starts included, which feels like a lot. But then I watched Lindsay at Blushing Pink Stitches. She did a whip parade and she's got about 70, and she seems very relaxed about it. I did comment to her that her relaxation about the numbers made me feel a bit better and made me think perhaps I shouldn't obsess over the numbers, because actually if I'm enjoying what I'm doing, it doesn't matter, does it really? Right, so this one I bought as a kit from Megan at Coffee Craft Fabrics. I'm stitching it with a friend on Instagram called Karen. We started it together on the 21st of June, so summer solstice here in the UK, and it is from the Fabulous House series by Cottage Garden Samplings, and it is the Lighthouse. I think I've mentioned on here before, I really love to have like a wall of Seaside themed cross stitch patterns stitched up in my house somewhere. So this is me getting started with that goal of having those patterns and a little wall of Seaside in my home. I think when I'm older, like when I retire, I'd quite like to live by the sea. So yeah, they really appeal to me. So this is a lovely pattern. It's in colour and size wise really good, really easy to follow so far. So as I said, I bought this off Megan at Coffee Craft. So it's a Coffee Craft Fabrics piece of fabric, and it's with CXC threads. So I don't know which way this goes up. I think it's that way. Shall I just, hang on a minute, let's just fold that down a bit. Okay, the pity that it's right on the fold. So I've started on the lighthouse, as you can see. Let's fold that in a bit as well. There we go. Started on the lighthouse. I love this fabric. It's a 16 count Ada in like a sort of stormy grey. Megan doesn't name her fabrics, but that's what I would call it if I was naming it, a storm grey. And I'm really pleased actually that on the camera the detail in this section is showing up so well, because as I say, Megan kitted it up with CXC threads, and did she? I'm saying that and now I'm questioning myself, because sometimes she kits them up with threads and sometimes she doesn't. I'm not sure. Anyway, whether it's her or me, doesn't matter. It's CXC threads, all the called for colours. And then when I got out the colours for this lighthouse, I'm going to show them to you. I was really disappointed, if I'm honest. Let me see if I can find them. So that one, and where is it? That one. So these are the colours it said for the lighthouse in the pattern. So these two. So 3858 and 3328. I know that CXC and Royal Broderie and all those are not necessarily going to be an exact match for the DMC, but they're always fairly good. They're just so brown, and to me on there the lighthouse looks really red, and I would imagine a lighthouse to be really red, so I really didn't like those. So I've swapped them out, and instead I am using 150 from DMC. Sorry, it's a really messy bit of thread. And 321. Yeah, 321. So I'm using these two. And you can probably see they're quite close in colour, and I was a bit concerned that they wouldn't contrast enough. But I think holding that up, it does work. So yeah, I'm really pleased with that. I would like to get back to this one in August, because it feels like the right time of year to be stitching away on a Seaside piece. Oh, and I've got a nice needle winder on here. Let me show you that. Let's pop it on the fabric so you can see it properly. So a lovely Ice Lolly needle minder from Cotton and Clay, who I mentioned earlier, and I will probably mention several times in this video because I have quite a few of her needle minders. So yeah, really cute. Okay, that is in a awful little Amazon mesh plastic thing. I've got all the fabric cut out downstairs to make a project bag for this and for another thing to live together in. I just can't get the time to do it. Just can't get around to it. I'm going to keep that for a minute because I've got another project in there. Okay, so that was my new start. Karen, I think, is doing a lot better than I am, and she's doing the beams of light coming out the side of the lighthouse, which is looking really good. Right, next up was one of my Whip Go calls. So this was my second Whip Go call for June. So we're still in June actually at the moment for our stitching. And this is Bossy Threads. Where is the cover picture? There it is. Bossy Threads, age is irrelevant. So this is a really long standing whip. I bought this. Right, let me work out how old I am, that I can work out how old my sister is. I bought this for my sister's 40th birthday, or to stitch for my sister's 40th birthday. She was 43 years ago. So I probably bought this closer to 4 years ago with the intention of having it finished for her 40th. I have now said it might be ready for her 45th birthday. possibly, who knows. So I'm using the kit fabric, the kit threads. I got quite a decent chunk of this done this time around. So it's the Bossy Threads speckled Ada. Not sure what count this is. 14 count. And we've got a nice big chunk of that first elephant in now. I worked primarily up here when I had it out this time. And on my whip go, all my pieces on there get 3 days of work. So I had 3 days this month, last month. And yeah, I'm really pleased with that. Love how he's looking. Really love how he's looking. I do find it quite hard going because it's so many greys and the patterns black and white. I guess actually if it was colour, because it's so many greys, it wouldn't necessarily help that much. But I'm enjoying it. And it is, I think it has got one more space in my whip go to get called this year, so that will probably come out again and get a bit more progress. And I think what I will do is carry on working down on this elephant, try and get some more of this section in when I get it out again. But yeah, really lovely, but definitely taken a lot longer than I thought it was going to. Terrible. Okay, what have I worked? Oh, we had another new start now, which is in my rubbish little bag that I showed you. So this one, I'm also starting with a friend. I'm starting this one, I started this one with Sally at Flossie Sews and Grows on the 28th of June. And it is hands-on design, Seaside Tiny Town. And I have been waiting to do a tiny town for so long. What did I call that? Hands-on design? It's not hands-on design, heart in hand. Seaside Tiny Town, sorry. Yeah, I've been waiting to do one of these for such a long time, and this one specifically because of my bit of a seaside obsession that I've got going on at the moment. And I think Sally mentioned it on her podcast, her Flosstube, and I decided to jump in and start it with her because why not? Why not? So yes, I'm very pleased to have that started. This is also on a piece of coffee craft fabric, and I think I also got the fabric with the pattern, but not the threads. Definitely didn't get the threads with this one because I'm using threads from Stash. So that's where I got up to. So I've done my lighthouse, bit of sea around the bottom, the little wooden posts, and one of my seagulls. Yeah, one of my seagulls is on there. So this fabric is 32 count even weave. It's a really nice light yellow, sort of sandy colour. It's looking a bit more brown on screen than it is. But yeah, that's looking really lovely. Really enjoyed stitching on this. And it really is tiny, isn't it? Like, it's really hard with cross stitch patterns, I think, to work out what size they are from the picture. Like, sometimes you see things and they look really small, and then when you start stitching them, they're humongous. And then other things you think look quite a decent size and they're really tiny. It's strange. But yeah, I liked doing this. I'm going to get this section finished in August and move on to this next section here with the crab and the little house. And as I said, I'm using just a random bunch of bits that I've pulled out of Stash, some leftover from a cotton and twine Hello Spring. I've got some leftovers from there, so I'm just kind of stitching it with what I think works. But yeah, I'm enjoying that, and that will come out again soon. Okay, so that's both of my starts done. Now I've got another sort of longish term one. So this is another one that I pulled out of the Jolly July. It's a magazine pattern. Let me just find the picture. There it is. So this is I call him Vintage Santa. In the magazine it's called Holly Jolly Christmas. So this is from the World of Cross Stitching. It is, which issue is this? World of Cross Stitching, issue 340. Pattern is by Amanda Butler. As I said, this was the second one that I pulled out for Jolly July that I thought I would try and go for a finish for, but there is no way I'm going to get this finished. Stitching from a magazine is hard going. This one's in 4 separate pieces across different pages. And as you can no doubt see here in his cloak, there's some blends, as well as a few different colour changes. So yeah, I've realised that there's no point stressing myself out trying to finish this. But I did make good progress on it, and if you look at my Instagram, I took a picture of it where I began, and I have made good progress. I am pleased with it. I've got a nice little needle minder on here. I'll show you quickly first. I probably shouldn't have took that off the fabric. Hold up. So my needle minder on here is from Maloka Designs. I'll show you that first quickly. He's really cute. I really love Maloka Designs needle minders. They are so strong. Right, let's get him into some manageable position. Okay, so here he is. I'm going to cut my face off for a minute, and then I'll fold this bit over. Okay, so these trees in the background, I've decided I'm not stitching. Copying that from a magazine was just horrendous. So I have actually been slowly picking that out. So that's just what's left to be picked out. That will be gone. We're just doing Santa. It's on this fabric flare even weave. I think it's a 28 count, called Snowy Days. So it graduates. You can see it's quite blue at the top. Looks like snowflakes and things, and it's almost white at the bottom. And I got all of this arm in, started this staff stick that he's holding, and this shoulder in as well. But yeah, as you can see, like, there's a long way to go. I'm not going to get that done this month, but he's looking fabulous. I really, really love him. I can't wait to have him framed and up when he's done, but that'll be a way off. So again, that's all the called for DMCs on that one. There's some beading to be done on there as well at some point. So he's a bit of a long-term project, but that's okay. That's okay. I think part of the battle is being realistic, isn't it, about what you can achieve. This massive mug. Got this from Tesco's for like £2. I love it. Okay, next up was another whip go call. This is my first whip go call for July, and this is so far this year my first whip go fail. I did not do my 3 stitchy sessions on this one. So this is the pattern. It is Be Not a Dunce by Michelle at Mama Loves You GB. So I had a little flurry of starting marking samplers. I went to Stitch in London Sampler Edition last year, 2024, and I had a little flurry of starting these marking samplers. I've even bought, which I think I've mentioned before, and I must show you at some point, I've bought a couple of antique samplers, one of which is a marking sampler that I've charted myself and I'm slowly stitching up. But I don't think they're my thing. The main issue with this one, I think, is the fabric. So I just started this on a whim on a bit of Ada, which I think already is probably the wrong thing for a marking sampler. It's a Zweigart 16 count in the colour Dirty, and I'm stitching with 310, DMC 310. And don't get me wrong, it looks good, it looks nice, but I'm not enjoying stitching on it. This Ada's quite rough and tough to get through, and yeah, I'm not sure about the marking samplers because the letters on them are really small. So you start a thread, and then before you know it, you've got to the end of the letter, and unless you're going to carry a thread across the back, which I don't want to because I know that it will show through, you're then ending your thread and then starting again, and then you finished again in a couple of minutes, and you're ending your thread, and it just feels a bit like you can't really get going. So yeah, I think I'm not sure what to do with this one. I did 2 stitching sessions and I pulled it out for a third, and I thought, yeah, I'm not enjoying it. And there's no point doing something that you're not enjoying when it's supposed to be something you do for fun. So I put it away, and It is on my whip go board again, but I'm going to swap that out and put something else in its place. And I think I'm just going to leave it in hibernation for now. And then maybe next year when I'm sort of making plans and things, I'll decide whether I'm going to UFO it or try again. I don't know. That little needle minder, by the way, was from Lindsay at Blushing Pink Stitches. But I'm not sure she sells needle minders anymore. Can't remember. But yeah, I just don't know about that one. Just don't know. Certainly it's not coming out again this year. I don't know what I'm going to put in its place on my whip go board. I haven't decided yet, but something I enjoy more for sure. Okay, my next one is Fruit of the Loom by Yasmin's Made with Love. I'm keeping that in its hoop for now because you can see all of it. So I've not done a lot on this one. I've just started putting in this little apple here, and actually let me show you. I did screenshot what the finished pattern looks like to show you because I don't think I've got it printed out. So hopefully this won't glare too much. So that's what it looks like when it's finished. So lovely. And I think I mentioned before, but we live, the cul-de-sac where we live is called the Orchards. So when I saw Yasmin was doing an apple one of these, I couldn't resist. So that's gorgeous. This bit is quite tricky to stitch because, as you can see, there's no like, it does repeat. So this is like the middle and then it repeats back this way. But from there to there, obviously it's all very different. So that requires quite a lot of concentration. I'm not particularly enjoying this fabric, and I am wondering whether I'm going off of Ada a little bit because it seems to be my Ada projects where I'm struggling with them. So yeah, it's just started to rain. I'm really sorry if you can hear that. I'm up in my loft and it's Velux windows, so they're quite noisy when it rains. Yeah, the fabric's not great. It's a bit splitty. It came in a pack from Wool Warehouse. I bought like a, don't know what you call it, just like a mixed pack of fabric. And yeah, it's all right, but it's not great. I am stitching it with, oh, get them out. I can't remember what it's called. Classic Colourworks Ribbon Red, which is this lovely variegated red, and you can really see the variegation in there. That's working really nicely. And my needle minder is from Denkai Designs, and it says slightly bitter, which I love. This is from a grime guard. It's from Wicky's Den, and I've got another one of theirs to show you a little bit later in the video as well. So yeah, really nice. I mean, it's easy to pick this one up and get a couple of threads in. I did, when I started it, I convinced myself that I was going to do a thread a day on that. And had I done a thread a day, I could have got that done probably in a couple of months quite easily. And this is silly me saying this because I am going to say later on that I'm going to try doing a thread a day on something. But generally speaking, I don't work well with routine and rules and things like that. I don't tend to stick to things very easily. So I did a thread a day on it for maybe a week and a half. I got bored. So now it's just coming out when I feel like it. Right, next is my favourite project at the moment. I think actually this has been my favourite project all year and will probably remain my favourite project until it's finished. So it is Spring on Lock Lane by the Old Barn Stitching Company. Ellie at Stitching Bee showed that she bought this pattern on her last video because she'd seen that I was stitching it. So that's really nice. I'm glad that I've inspired someone to start something, and I know she will love stitching this. It is just gorgeous. The colours are beautiful. The Quaker sort of nature of the motifs really appeal to me. I really love those geometric shapes. So yeah, this is definitely one that calls to me, that I love stitching on, and I find it really hard to put this one down. So this is also in Nerge at the moment, and I'm not going to take it out because I have placed it perfectly where I want it. I am just going to try and move this hanging thread out of the way a bit. Okay, there we go. Isn't she lovely? So beautiful. Hold that fabric up out of the way. There you go. So yeah, she is looking gorgeous. I don't know why they're she's, but they are. So I've worked down here on this bit and up this vine. I've put in all this grass, and as you can see, I've started on the beautiful house. I did have the roof in before, but yeah, I've put those windows in and some of the brickwork, I suppose. And yeah, I just love it. Absolutely love it. So my goal on this one, which I've spoken about before, is I want to get this done by the end of the year. So I've just done this bit, that, and started on the house. So the rest of July, all through August and September, my plan is to get this whole middle section complete. And then October, November, December, so that it's done by the end of the year. And these little sections are easily done in a few sessions. So if I can get this middle section done in those few months over the summer, then that will definitely be finished by the end of the year. Needlewinder is another Maloka Designs. Love it. I put a bunny on because it's called Spring on Lock Lane, and bunnies are spring animals to me. But yeah, so nice. So I'm really enjoying that one, and it is definitely my favourite project of all of them at the moment. Okay, that is everything that I've worked on. So all my whips, all of my new starts. So let's talk about plans. And actually my first plan is going back to this one. So I should probably get it back out again for a minute. So this one, saying I don't like doing thread a day and I don't stick with routines, I am going to try with this one to put in a thread a day over the summer and just slowly build that house up. Because it's, you know, I love block stitching, I love it, but that is a great big chunk of stitching right there. So I think that will work really well if I can just put in a thread every day. I've done my thread today already. I've put in the ecru here above and below the windows and along there. So yeah, and because I love working on this one, I think it'll be easier to pull it out and just do a thread. I'll probably struggle just to do one thread, to be honest. But yeah, thread a day on that, try and get that section as done as I can. My dahlia, so my full coverage, I'm going to try and do 50 stitches a day over the summer, and by that I mean up until I go on holiday. So I go on holiday towards the end of August, and I think when I worked it out, I should be able to get 2,500 stitches in there between now and going on holiday, which would be amazing. So I'm going to try and plug away at that. I break up from work because I work in a school. I break up from work tomorrow. So once I'm off for the summer, even if we're having days out and stuff, there is no reason why I can't put a thread into Lock Lane and put 50 stitches into dahlia. So that's the plan. I've got my next whip go call for July that I still need to work on. So this is another Bossy Threads. I'm going to do some rustling, sorry. I didn't realise this was in plastic. In fact, I'll leave it in there. Hopefully it won't glare. Gorgeous. So this is the Menagerie collection, the one called Paradise. I'm going to forget her name now. Does it say it on here? Ah, it does. So this is artwork by Rachel Froud. I discovered her on Instagram, and I've got one of her prints on my wall downstairs in my front room. I've got her lion on my front room. Lions are my favourite animal, but I just love her artwork. I think it's stunning. She's just amazing. So when I saw that Bossy were doing kits for her artwork, I had to have one. So I went for this one. Unfortunately, last time I stitched it, I didn't particularly enjoy it. But I haven't stitched on it for a really long time, so I'm hoping when I pick it up again this time I will enjoy it. I have another hanging thread. It's the episode of hanging threads today. I do apologise. So it's on this printed fabric. Sorry, you can see through that a little bit. And I've started bottom left, which is unusual for me. And I think the reason I did that is you can see that up here, our top left, which is where I normally start, that's just fabric, and counting down from there to there was going to be a bit of a pain in the bum. So I decided to go from the bottom instead. Let's just fold that over. Again, you don't need to see loads of empty fabric. So, oh, look at it. Just looks so good. So good. The colours are amazing. And it's funny because when I was stitching on this last time, and it was a while ago, I felt like my stitches looked really messy, but they're not that bad. I do think my stitches look messier on Ada. Again, I'm thinking that I'm going off of Ada a little bit and preferring the even weave and even the linen, which I've hated. But yeah, anyway, this is looking beautiful. So it'd be really interesting to see how far I can get with my 3 stitching sessions, because last time I worked on this, I would say I was still fairly new stitcher, and I'd say now I'm much more experienced. I do a lot more of it, so it'd be good to see how far I get. So yeah, beautiful. So that's one of my plans. Got to work on that for 3 days, and I'm going to start that later this week because I have a new start plan for today, which is in this bag that I made myself. I absolutely love Liberty fabric, and this bag's already got a project in it which you've seen before, which is a hot air balloon pattern by Barbara Anna. But the thing that I'm starting today is perfectly suited as well. So again, I'm going to show you, I took a screenshot of what it will look like when it's done. So this is a free pattern by Our Forest Embroidery. Try and get rid of the glare. How's that? That's not bad. So it's called Emerald City. It's a free pattern. You can download it on their website. They did it initially as a stitch along. There's 11 parts, and the whole thing is available now. And there is a stitch along starting today, being hosted by Jen at Jen Stitchy Corner, I believe. That's her name. I will put it underneath 100% and link to her YouTube video, because she's got a video where she specifically talks about this stitch along. So it's starting today. She's set up a Facebook group for it, so you can go and join in there. And I have dyed a piece of fabric for this, which I am very, very unsure of. Very unsure of, if I'm honest. I have a swig of tea. So I'm going to go with it. I'm just going to stitch it on it. I think it'll be okay, but it's quite out there for me. So it's a 16 count Ada I dyed. I've just said I think I'm going off Ada, and now I'm starting something on Ada. I'm going to show you the whole piece first, and then I will fold it up a bit so we're not getting that light coming through it. So I followed Sarah at Sew Me Sarah's fabric dyeing tutorial, which I've used before and I showed you before for my hot air balloon piece. I did a piece of fabric with that. The only dye-on I could get was this. It was called olive green, which was a bit darker than I wanted. I wanted like this colour, like on my t-shirt. I thought would be perfect. Maybe like a tone or 2 lighter, so the threads would show up for the Wizard of Oz's castle. And when it was the only colour I could get, I thought, right, I'll give it a go. I was really careful with how much I put in because I wasn't sure about it. And I did a lot of scrunching because I really wanted a bit more mottling, so I didn't get much mottling on the previous piece I did. And when it was done, it was this really it was army green. Like, my son goes to Air Cadets and he has this like green camo uniform he wears sometimes, and it was like that. It was like proper army green. It was a really browny yellow toned green, and I really didn't like it. So I had a little rummage in the cupboard, and I had some blue dye left over from a tie-dye kit that me and my daughter used a couple of years ago, so it's pretty old. And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to stick a bit of that on it. So I made up a new dye solution with this tie-dye stuff, put the fabric back in it, and I'm pretty happy with it. I really like these sections. Unfortunately, where I scrunched the fabric so much, there were bits where the green dye didn't do much, like here and here. So we've ended up with some bits that are really bright blue, which are the things that are putting me off, because actually this I really like. But it's quite a busy pattern, isn't it? Like there's a lot going on there. So I think it'll be okay. What do you think? I think it'll be okay. So I'm going to go for it. I'm not using the cord for. I don't even know if I've got the threads here. I've started putting together some threads and I'm using a mixture. I've got some DMC, I've got some fancy flosses. Just kind of using what I think looks right, looking at the colours in the pattern. I've got a few fancy flosses turning up hopefully today from Rachel at Talking Dog Stitchery to go with this as well. And yeah, once I finish filming, this is going to get itself in a nurse hoop or a Q-snap, and we are going to crack on with part 1, which is really exciting. So I'm really looking forward to that. I've had that pattern downloaded again probably for 2 maybe 3 years. I don't know when it came out, but I've had it downloaded for a really long time and I just needed an excuse to start it. So when I saw this stitch along starting, I was like, yes, I'm there, I'm joining in, even though I don't need any new starts. But I did finish something, didn't I? So if you finish something, starting is okay. Right, let's get on to haul. How long have we going? 40 minutes, my goodness. Okay, haul. I've not got a lot. I've been really good this month. I've been trying not to spend too much money. Yeah, I have spent a lot of money, but not necessarily on things I can show you. So I bought this. This is just the pattern. It was D-Stash on Facebook. As you know from my channel name, Cakes and Stitches, I love a cake. I love baking. I even considered it as a career for a little while, so this really spoke to me. So it's just going to sit in my stash for now. I have no plans to start it, but I am pleased to have it. I don't think I've shown you this, and I can't remember when I bought it, so I'm showing it to you now, and if I've shown it before and I'm repeating myself, I apologise. But I got this lovely, really cute small project bag from Oso Alison. I bought this, I believe, through her Instagram page, but she has also got an Etsy shop and a website, so I will try to link them down below for you. How cute. So sweet. So I've put in here my little Christmas gnome project. So that was the one that I'd finished a little while ago. And I've got everything in here to start. Oh! And this, which I've been looking for because I wanted to finish 2 things for Jolly July. I thought, oh, I'm not going to finish that Santa. I've got that little mug that I started that doesn't need much doing. I could finish that. And I couldn't find it. It's in here, look. Look. It's almost done. So I might have to pick that up later. I knew it was somewhere safe. Yes, I've got a couple of Christmassy bits in there. But obviously that will work. I've got it in there because of the gnomes, but that will work all year round, won't it, for other things? Really cute. Love that. The other thing I bought was another grime guard from Wicky's Den on Etsy. I mentioned them earlier. I will link them as well. How cute is that? Look, all the little shells and starfish. I bought this because my Bella Filipina, who is a mermaid, goes in this Q-snap. So I thought this would be perfect for her. So yeah, really nice. So that's my haul, not too much. I have made another purchase. I have bought the Historical Sampler Company Advent Calendar, and I just checked before I started filming and it's sold out already. It was released for general sale on the 18th of July. I was signed up to the newsletter, so I think I got a thing the day before, 24 hours earlier, pre-sale, and I ordered it straight away. But yeah, it's already sold out. But what hasn't sold out is the Historical Sampler Company, along with their Advent Calendar, are doing a Christmas stitch along, and the kit for the Christmas stitch along is still available. So if you're interested, you go over and have a look at that, and hopefully that's something some people will enjoy, even if you miss out on the Advent Calendar. Okay, finishing up then. So books. I've done a lot of reading lately. I'm only going to show you 2 books today because one of them I've already given to someone else to read. But I read this one, so Anything Could Happen by Lucy Diamond. I loved this. I gave it 4 out of 5. Only because it's just a general chick lit, you know, easy to read, love story. But it was a really interesting plot line in that, very briefly, the people who fall in love met when they were like, I don't know, 18 or something. They were in New York, he was travelling, she was there for like a little internship or something, and they spent one night together, and then life happened, and even though they intended to see each other again, it didn't work out, and things, I'm not going to tell you what because it will spoil the story, but things bring them back together, like 20 something years later, or 18 years later, something like that, and they fall in love again. And yeah, it was really good. I really enjoyed this. I flew through this book, so I would highly recommend this one if you're looking for a nice easy reader. This is perfect, like sun lounger, sitting in a deck chair reading. And then the other one that I've read this month is Famous Last Words by Gillian McAllister. So this was released at the beginning of July. I had pre-ordered this, which is unusual for me. I don't tend to pre-order books, and I don't really read thrillers. So I can't remember why I pre-ordered it now, but oh, I'm so glad I did. I read it in less than a week, literally could not put it down. I gave it 4.5 out of 5, and the only reason it missed out on a 5 was because I felt like the ending, I don't know how to explain it. I just felt like something was missing at the end. I didn't get the feeling from the end that I wanted, but the story was fabulous. The plot line is basically this lady has been on maternity leave. It's her first day back at work, baby's first day at nursery. She wakes up in the morning, her husband's already left. She assumes he's left to go to work. He's left her a little note, and then when she's at work, she's been worrying a bit because she's been phoning him and messaging him, and she thinks it's a bit weird that he left early on the day that she was going back for the first day. And then when she's at work, the police turn up and tell her that there's a hostage situation that her husband's involved in, and obviously her first thought is that her husband is a hostage, but it turns out that actually he is the gunman. Yeah, it was really good, and I am going to actually go back to the beginning of her books. I've never read one of her books before, and I'm going to try and work my way through them because I thoroughly enjoyed this. So highly recommend if you enjoy thrillers. And the good thing about this, part of the reason I don't read thrillers and crime novels and stuff is because they just spook me. They freak me out a bit, you know, when they talk about things that you know could happen in real life. But there was nothing in this that was scary or gory or anything where I felt like like I could relate to it in terms of the crime. So yeah, I think this is a really nice sort of gentle thriller, if you like. So yeah, highly recommend that too. And the last thing I've got to show you is some knitting. So this is a knitting project you haven't seen before. It is in this huge, lovely bag from Giddy Yarns, as you can see. So I had Giddy Yarns advent calendar, not last year, the year before, and this came with the Giddy Yarns advent calendar, which is very generous and perfect for an advent project. This inside is an advent project, but not from my Giddy Yarns advent calendar. I made myself an advent last year using Beaches and Birdsong's monthly yarn club. Each month when it turned up, I'd get my little girl to open it and put it in an advent calendar for me. So it was all a surprise, and it was all fairy tale themed. So it's going to be really difficult to show you, but I will try. So it's a shawl. It's pretty big already, which is crazy because I'm not that far into it. I've done 1, 2, 3, 4 sections, and it's 12 sections in the shawl, obviously, because it's for Advent. So it's fingering yarn held double, which is why my 24-day Advent calendar turns into a 12-section shawl. I'm a little bit disappointed with this section here because it doesn't contrast very well. But the pattern is My Reading Shawl by Kay Jones and the Bakery Bears. It's really simple, lovely pattern. I was hoping to knit this throughout this year, but as I said, I'm 4 sections in, I've got 8 to go. Probably not going to finish it this year, but I'm thoroughly enjoying it when I get it out. And the contrast colour is a Drops Lima. Lovely, nice affordable yarn. So I'm using that as my grey. And then each month with the yarn club, if I show you one of them, each month you've got 2 mini skeins, and I have gone through and matched up ones that I think work together. So I've not kept the months together, So like I've got that combination where I'll hold those two double with each other, for example, just to get a nice striped shawl at the end of it, which hopefully will sit here in my bedroom to wrap around my shoulders on those cold winter nights when I'm reading gentle thrillers and chick lit. So yeah, I'm enjoying it, but I haven't brought it out much because I really used to be a knitter with a capital K, and since I have fallen into this cross stitch rabbit hole, I seem to stitch more and more and more and knit less and less and less. But I'm hoping, again, like I say, I've got the summer off. Hopefully this will see some love over the summer if the weather cools down a bit, because as you can see it's pretty large. It makes me rather hot. Okay, that's it. I haven't got any baking to show you today because I have baked this week. I baked a banana bread, but I did my usual thing, which I'm famous for in my family, of getting a recipe and then changing pretty much everything about it. And it's edible, but it ain't great. So I won't bother showing it to you. And hopefully I'll have something to show you next time. Next time will be September, because I will have my children at home with me from Wednesday this week, and we've got days out and our family holiday and things. So it will be September and quite possibly mid-September before I see you again. So enjoy the next couple of months. Have a lovely summer. I hope you get lots of stitching done, and I will see you again very soon. Bye.